Alright, so hi, my name is Jerry A. Rod here. This is my first video. Let's go. So, we're just gonna be playing some Far Far West. I'm just gonna introduce myself, make myself familiar to the YouTube world now. Because I've been on YouTube, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm not gonna say my specific age. I'm kind of looking to stay somewhat anonymous, not as we go, I'll give bits and pieces more of my life, but I'm not trying to completely dox myself. I think that's how most people are. As we get more comfortable, I want to share more and more. But we're here, we're playing this game. This game's pretty sick. I really like the gameplay of this game a lot right now. It's kind of 1 second. I want to pay attention, make sure I don't need anything to upgrade. I think I did everything before we stopped. So this is gonna be a yapathon, yap sesh, whatever the fuck you wanna call it. I really shouldn't play this game by myself. So we're gonna go we're gonna go into a game. I'm just gonna host. We'll chill. I'm just gonna talk, and then once we get some more people, we'll start it up. But I'm just gonna talk a bit, and tell you who I am, kinda. So, like I said, in my mid-20s. I live in New York. I'll tell you that. My name's Gerard. You can call me Jerry A. Rod. That's a nickname that was given to me by a buddy when I was in high school. He used to like overly enunciate my name, say like Jerry A. Rod. So it's just Gerard. It's fancy. You can call me Jerry. You can call me Gerard. You can call me Rod. Whatever. I don't really care. But I'm just a person that's been chronically online my whole life. Whoa, what the fuck? I've never been back here. What the fuck? And, I always loved video games a lot. Always watched, oh, this is cool. Always watched a lot of YouTube growing up. I watched, like, the older YouTubes, like, what the fuck? Watched, like, Smosh back in the day, Ninja Higa. OG YouTube I used to like. I watched a lot of Pyrocynical as a more recent. I like Critical. Old PewDiePie. I'm just one of those like fucking kids from like the early 2000s. We had the YouTube icon, the old one. It just came pre-installed on iOS. Always love YouTube. Love watching YouTube my whole life. Love video games. Growing up, I had PS2. I had all the consoles growing up. 3DS, DS, Game Boy. I'm proud owner of a Wii U. I'm one of the 9 people that own a Wii U. And I bought it to play Smash Wii U. And I own Wind Waker. That's like my favorite Zelda game. So that was kind of worth owning. Love a lot of games. Love looter shooters. I'm not a big Destiny guy. I always liked Borderlands, but as of more recently, Borderlands hasn't been too hot. Capcom, it's my favorite game company. I played all Devil May Cry's. I just beat Pragmata recently. That game was phenomenal. I paid $70 for the amiibo, just to have something. I got a big amiibo collection too. I kind of stopped collecting as I'm late because they don't make the fucking. There's no more Smash Ultimate ones. The hype for Smash Bros is really subsided now. I don't even know what type of amiibos they're making now. They're making, I have no clue. I can't even give an example because I have no idea. And, but I just love video games, and hopefully I can have this channel to show my love for video games. I'm not really here to talk about current events, politics, whatever it may be. The world is the world. If you come here, you want to have a good time. You don't want to worry about what's going on in the world. You'll just go on a news app and read about it or look up content that shares that stuff. But this is more for like, throw me on the background while you chilling in your room, going for a drive, having some food, just we're chilling, that's it. Oh man, I got a bad cough recently. I'm sorry if I'm blowing your ears out. I'm not very familiar with video editing either, so due to this being my first video, I'm not going to really dwell too much on trying to overly edit this video and, you know, make it clean. You know, it's the first video. It's got to be rough. We got to come back to this in like a few years, look back on it, reminisce about it. You know, it has to be shit. You know, why wouldn't it be shit? It's the first video. But the editing, I'm gonna try something. I don't know. I might cut out certain parts or not. I don't know how I feel. I'll figure that out after the video is done. See how I feel. Well, you know, that's a little bit rambling. Give you an idea of what I'm looking to do here. But let's actually play the game. Unfortunately, I made it public session, but yeah, it's public right now. Just nobody's joining. So let's just hop up in a game. I've been enjoying hard recently. I'm like 22, so I can't really do very hard yet. I don't have like a crazy build or anything like that. Let's look for someone that's like in the saloon, so I don't join mid game. I mean, join mid game's not too bad either. I don't know if they're ever gonna change that, because I've joined games towards the end, and I'll get the rewards, but I didn't do like anything. I'll get the, what are they called? The things to make the guns. I forget the name of it, but like here, I'll join this area 41. I don't even have this map unlocked, and we didn't get in. Okay. My girlfriend's texting me. Also, I have an amazing girlfriend. I love this girl so much. You know, you gotta appreciate the ones that love you, and I really appreciate her. So, you know, friends, family, anyone that's there for you. You know, you gotta shout them out a little bit. You know, love my girlfriend, love my family, love my friends. Let's see. Very hard. Get the fuck out of here. Is this the same game? I think it is. I don't want to join this one. I kind of want to try it. Damn, why'd I even try to do it? Let's see. Bound hard. Homunculus. Okay. Come on, let's go. Oh man. Oh wow, look, I joined right on the boss. What's up, guys? You see, this is literally what I was talking about. I mean, I don't... So since this game plays kind of like a roguelike, it's good to play throughout the matches and build up stuff so that you can... Oh, you're gonna nuke one. It's good to build up items for when you fight the boss. It's a lot easier. You get like movement speed or, you know, damage buffs based on health, XYZ. And, you know, joining late, it's good. You get the rewards. But I'm probably not going to put too much work in compared to these guys, even though they're a lower level. Like, he's level 14. That guy's 40. He's 51. Jesus. I work a lot. My schedule is very rough. And, you know, I don't have too much time to be playing games. So, the times that oh, I've never seen that move. The hell? Never seen that move. The electric move I have right now lets you do a little boost jump. I have this fire AoE attack, and then this like drains enemies' health. Oh, I'm sure my teammates now. Sorry about the coughing, you know. Got a sore throat right now. That's the thing that I would like to edit out of the videos. But like here, like you say, I'm getting a fragment, but I wasn't even present the whole game. And I just get rewarded for joining that game. So we're gonna head over to the extract. Yeah, I hope anyone that finds this video or finds my channel, you know, I have like a few like videos already uploaded. I'm a big fan of music. I do enjoy like underground rap very much at this moment, but I listen to all other genres. Like, very big vinyl collection right now. Like old school, you know, classic rock. I do like jazz, and oh my electronic. Big fan of everything. I just think the underground rap, and well, rap in general is what I'd say I'm the most knowledgeable of. But rap in general, as of right now speaking, I think the underground scene is very much like thriving. I feel like almost every other week there's like some new artist either just starting or at least that I'm finding out of. Oh my, this cool. I've never been on the ice like this. But I think the underground scene is very much thriving. I love electronic music, but I just feel like a lot of like modern electronic, like at least for like dance or EDM, sounds very samey. I like breakcore, I like things like that too. That's good. But I'm a big music guy. I do like anime also. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge weeb, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, my favorite anime is like this super niche one that fucking 10 people have heard of and came out in the early 90s. But my favorites are like, I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I watched up until part 5, and then I read part 6, 7, 8. Then when part 7 when part 6 came out, I watched part 6. And part 9, that's currently like coming out. I'm not caught up to that. I read like the first 2 chapters just to see what, for the initial release I was curious. But I'm really not looking to read week to week. I'd read JoJolion week to week for like 2 years straight, and it was like torture. And oh wow, that's terrible. And I'm not really looking to have like a week to week manga. Week to week shows, like whether it be anime or regular TV, is not bad. You get like an hour-long episode, like a 30-minute episode. Reading manga week to week is brutal, though. You get a fucking 20 to 40 pages, and then you have to wait. Oh, I mean, JoJo, I'm sorry, correct me, but JoJo is not even weekly, it's monthly. I'm sorry. The weekly format is very common with shows, at least, but yeah, I was reading JoJolion monthly for like 2 years, and that's only 24 chapters because it's 12 chapters in a year. That's all you get, and that was brutal. You would read 40 pages, and then you'd have to wait a month for another chapter. Like, I understand a lot of mangas like Hunter x Hunter goes into crazy hiatus, things like that. I read a little bit of HXH. I decided to read it just because I thought, like, with the longer ones, like whether it be One Piece or like Naruto, I think the manga shouldn't be discredited at all. That was what made it popular. It's the original material. I think that the anime is great, but the fact that people just never even think to read it is crazy. I mean, I read 10 chapters of Hunter, so I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I just want to see if I like it. I think JoJo in manga form is amazing. The art, beautiful. Also a very big Berserk fan. I read up until Guts is like riding on top of Nosferatu Zod's shoulders, and they're fighting that like Middle Eastern guy. I don't remember. He's like the cushion guy, I think. And I read up to that. I really love Berserk. I watched the show and the movie prior to reading it, and I could sit down right now and bang it out and finish it up, but the fact that Miura passed away, I just don't want to lose it. I don't want to have something like that doesn't have an end to end. So that's my concern with that is. We could appreciate what we have right now, but the fact that we know that it's never going to end, why am I rushing to finish it? I understand that people want to, like, see everything that he wrote, experience the whole story, but I feel like it's, the same way that it's a journey in Guts' life, the whole story of Berserk is that is similar to how like I want to read a good portion of it in the future, and I read a good portion of it, years ago, like 7 years ago. Read a good portion of it like 3 years ago, and I want to take my time with it, even though I could probably sit down tomorrow and literally read the whole thing. Like it doesn't even matter to me because I want to like savor it. Um, that like I always told myself that like Berserk I plan on finishing when I have kids. Like that's how long I want to wait to read it because that's how perfect it is. I want to be at a far point in my life, kind of how Guts is at a far point in his life to experience that. Where I am right now is kind of where I am in the story, and as he progresses, I'm not trying to spoil too much because I do know what happens later with Casca. I'm aware of what happens. It's impossible to be a Berserk fan and not get spoiled by things like that. But I want to see how it plays out. It doesn't matter. Still gotta experience it. Oh, these guys are hard. The red guys. These guys will fuck you up. Yeah, and growing up too, like I always was a decently big fan of anime and manga and things like that. But I think most of you who are like around my age, I'd say like I'm 25, and most people that are my age growing up that were into video games and manga and anime, whatever it may be, into like what they would call like nerdy shit. It was never like I could never talk about this stuff growing up to just anyone. I mean, I had my friends that were into it, but I mean, people be going on a date and asking like, "Oh, do you look anime?" Like, yo, I would never think of doing that. Never think of doing it. Yo, it has to be like the fourth date. You have to like really be fucking with that person. There's no way you're gonna ask a girl. You like, oh, what shows do you watch? Oh, I watch Attack on Titan. Nah, that would never happen when you were like 15, 16. Even 2016, 2015, nobody would be like that. As much as people want to be like, oh, well, I watched you in 2015. Yeah, you probably did, but there's no way you were going around telling people as comfortably as people are now. So, it's great that things become normalized in society, but it's also a bad thing because there's plenty of things that are good that get normalized. There's plenty of bad things that get normalized. So, anime and stuff, anime, manga, whatever, that's good. The thing with OnlyFans though is that I always thought growing up like if a girl was to ever become like a what, I can't say it because of YouTube, but if you're looking to go into that industry, it was very much frowned upon. Nobody would ever like, no one was proud to say it. They would like hide it from their parents, hide it from their family. It was like frowned upon. But now it's just, I don't understand why people want to sell their soul for some money, because my goal in life is to have a wife, have kids, have enough money to get by and live happily. I don't know where someone's thought process would be that I want to do that with my body to get those things, unless they don't want those things. But who's telling them that they don't want those things? How do they know? That's normalized within the society. Is that people are saying that you don't need that lifestyle that was, looked at as the societal norm, and that you could live this way and you'll be happy. But I went to Catholic school growing up. I have Catholic morals, I'd say, but I'm not overtly religious where I'm going to church every week or anything like that. I'm Italian Catholic, raised Italian, raised a Catholic, but I don't understand where people. I can put money on it. There are plenty of these people that live these lifestyles that in the future they're gonna tell everyone around them that they're happy, they're content with everything they have, they're grateful, X, Y, Z. But really, in the back of their mind, once they hit like 40 or 50, they're gonna be like, "Wow, look at all these girls with like husbands and children's that are getting married, going to churches, doing all these things, and that I sold my body on the internet, and I'll never be able to have those things. It's almost like you know, people that are like smokers. Like you smoke when you're young, you know. It's I'm not a square. I'm not saying don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that, but you know, I've smoked plenty, smoked, vape, done plenty, but I'm aware of what it does to me and the negative outcome that I'm going to have in the future, and I'm content with it. You know, that I made that decision to do that, and that's, you know, I live with the risk of this, but making the decision to do that with your body with OnlyFans on the internet, the risk isn't medical. It's just the people around you are not gonna, you know. I would never get married to an OnlyFans model. You know, that's something in society that shouldn't be normalized. And I just hope in the future people change their minds about that, are a little bit more thoughtful about that type of, you know, lifestyle to live. But let me stop talking about this fucking depressing shit, and let's yap about some more video games. That's what we're here for. I said I wasn't gonna make it political or, you know, anything like that, but I do love like psychological movies, psychological horror, psychological games. Those are some of my favorite things. You know, my two like in my I'll post a list of my favorite games of all time so you guys can understand me better. Than, like my favorite two games they're very interchangeable though are Psychonauts 1 and 2. I love. Oh, that's a good one. Psychonauts 1 and 2. Mother 3. And if you ask, oh, why not Earthbound? If you played Mother 3, it's not even a question. If you've only played Earthbound, the quality of life in Earthbound and the story, to be honest, sucks in comparison to Mother 3. Like, if you played Mother 3, when you die in Earthbound, you have to go all the way back to the hospital. Teleporting is not convenient at all in Earthbound. But in Mother 3, all that's fixed. you have it where that when you die, you just spawn like back at the screen right before you die. It doesn't like put a big penalty on it. And the story of Earthbound, I mean, it's not really even a story. Like, what are you doing that? You go around with your buddies, meeting people. I don't even remember, to be honest. And then you turn into robots and you like fight a room. I don't even know. I can't even tell you because it's just it has like that, like, I don't know, it's gonna sound really stupid, but it has like that lore style story where like things have occurred prior to you playing the game and you need to piece together the story. I might be completely wrong, but it's been a long time since I played Earthbound. I played that when I was in college, actually, and played Mother 3 immediately after. And I can't see how anyone that's ever played Mother 3 is going to put Earthbound on Mother 3. So, if you've ever been thinking about playing Mother 3, or Earthbound, whatever it may be, I'm not trying to discredit Earthbound. I think it still is, you know, it has really funny gimmicks, very cool aesthetic, you know, and it paved the way for like those wacky JRPGs. You know, Undertale is heavily inspired by it. Love Undertale, love Deltarune. Oh man, I triggered this thing. I played those, did all the things. But Mother 3 has an amazing story. I would not sleep on that game if you love JRPGs. It's a tragic tale about Lucas and his brother Klaus. And I'd say like corporate greed, I guess, is a bit of the themes. I mean, if you like One Piece, very similar themes. So like I said, it's gonna be Psychonauts. Oh man, there's a lot of enemies here. Psychonauts, Psychonauts, Mother 3, and I like Portal 2 a lot. The story of Shell, amazing story. Oh, I gotta lock in for a second. I wanna make sure we're getting back. Oh man, this is locking out. One sec, I gotta lock in. It's getting crazy. One missing. +1 jump. One second. Okay, so Psychonauts 1 and 2, Portal 2, Mother 3. These are all my top 5. Also my favorite Pokemon game is Black and White 2. I grew up with ones prior to that release, but I just love that game so much. They just threw that in there quick. That was not my top 5. Okay, let me restart. Number 1, Psychonauts 1 and 2. Number 2, Mother 3. Number 3, Portal 2. Number 4, it's either going to be like a game within the BioShock series. I want to say BioShock 1, but you know, a lot of people hate on Infinite, but I really do like Infinite. I have a lot of sentimentality towards that game, the release and the time that it came out. You know, I didn't play BioShock 1 and 2 on release. I played them afterwards, but I think you'd be able to relate to me is that when you play a game on release, even if it's in a series of multiple games, even if it's not, that game is just, it has a little bit more of a sentimental feel to it. Because you took the time on that specific day to be like, I know this game is coming out. You were looking forward to it prior to its release, and you fucking bought that shit and you were excited to play that game. You were excited before anything even happened. A lot of games we play now, you know, sometimes it's a recommendation or, you know, just an interest in playing the game, whatever it may be. But the feeling of playing a game on release is, even if the game sucks, you'll remember. Yeah, the game could literally suck balls, and you'll remember that game release. You know, playing a game on release is slept on. Not everyone, you know, for the big titles, people will care, but not so big titles, some people don't care. But I played this game on release, and you know, let's say I'm not a big fan of it for a year or two. It goes downhill. You know, I was a big fan of Helldivers. Same with Helldivers. I played that game on release. And I know that they've added a lot of stuff to the game recently. One moment, I gotta cough. But I know they added a lot of stuff to the game recently, and that they fixed like the quality of life. The game's a lot better. I understand, but you know, I remember like you know what it is. The games, at least multiplayer games on release, are like a microcosm for experiences, because on release these games will have the most peak multiplayer experiences, and then like it's gone forever. So let's say this game in 20 years someone's like Lost Media, oh you remember Far Far West? Oh, come over here bro, I'm ready. Lost Media, Far Far West, you remember that game? Oh my god, it was so fun, I love that game. And then to play it, you're gonna need 4 people for like a peak experience. You can play by yourself, it'll probably be fine. If you're planning on playing a game that old, that means that you need 4 friends, 4 readily available friends. And to top it off, if you're a person that played it on release 20 years from now, I'm 25, we're talking about a 45-year-old person trying to play a Lost Media game with 3 other people, I'm gonna guess, around his age. You know, 3 readily available 45-year-olds to play an older game that nobody's thinking of. So that's the problem. You know, these games. I also love physical media, and physical media is dead. At least when it comes to games. You know, these companies do not care about releasing physical media anymore. they care about making live service games that, you know, they could churn out a million microtransactions and take you for your money. And what's nice about this game is small devs, small team. I think there's 4 people. I just saw like an Instagram post. It's probably I don't know. I don't trust nothing until I do a little more research into it. But I'm just saying that this is a small team that made this game, and it really hits that itch for the Borderlands style gameplay. To be honest, like if you're a fan of Borderlands and you're not playing this game, I just ask why, because it really hits that itch. I don't want the wandering travel one. It hits that Borderlands itch. And, you know, a lot of people love Borderlands. And what they did with that franchise is really unfortunate. Because the amount of games that... Think about this. Borderlands 2. Borderlands 1, it's pretty good. It's alright. You know, it has its issues, has its flaws. Sorry. So I live with my parents, and my dad just came to tell me that a bird flew into the window, and it's laying on the ground outside. So very nice. But like I was saying, Borderlands, the modern Borderlands game. Imagine this: Borderlands 1 comes out. You know, it builds a niche, but tight fan base. Pretty good. And one sec, let's see what we got here. Healing bottles 20% more effective. While at full gain 20% more speed, reload. Come on, bro, I can't read it now. 20% more speed, reload speed, and fire rate. This is 20. I'm gonna take the risk. 20% off because I'm gonna buy it again. That one's pretty good. So, Borderlands 1 comes out, builds a very niche but tight community. Borderlands 2 comes out, blows up. Amazing game, 10 out of 10, peak. DLCs come out. The DLCs are fucking amazing. And I think it's one of the most replayable games I've ever played. I've played through the Borderlands 2 story so many times. You know, a game that's absolute peak is one that you can play around the time that it comes out. Play it like 2-3 times over. At least a game like that, not purely you know, single player. And you go back to it and you play through it again, and it feels like you're playing it for the first time. You know, I'm a big Dark Souls fan too. I've played almost all the Souls game. You know, you can kill me. I wasn't a huge fan of Sekiro. I played a bit of it. I might revisit it in the future. Love Dark Souls 1. Love Dark Souls 3. I played a lot of Dark Souls 2. I'm not a huge fan. It's not bad, but it's not for me. It doesn't have the Dark Souls feel to it. It feels like its own thing. Bloodborne, peak. Love Bloodborne. I loved Elden Ring when it came out too. Amazing games. Demon Souls I'm not too crazy for also. Just, you know, I like games that have you know, bonfires, but that game has like no bonfires. Every area is like you know, you have to play through the whole area. There's like no checkpoints. It's brutal. But like I was saying with Borderlands 2 is that they had the chance to, like, modern games, they don't take the hype that they get from their popularity and carry themselves off of it and continue the hype. Like, yeah, hype dies after a while, but you just need to add more good content to keep the hype going. Like, even what's it called? Helldivers 2. They had so much hype. I'd scroll on Instagram Reels and see so many Helldivers memes, so many Helldivers posts, And what do? They don't put out an update for like, what the fuck is this? They they don't put out an update for God knows how long. They delay the updates. I played that game for like months and months and months after release, and there was like no new content, and you just destroy your fan base. Borderlands 2, they put out DLCs consistently, put out DLCs for holidays, and those DLCs were mad cheap, cost like nothing, and they kept the hype. They go to put out another game. They put out the pre-sequel. The pre-sequel was negatively reviewed initially, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It had one of the best DLCs too for Borderlands. It had the what's it called? The one for Claptrap. You get Claptrap's backstory. It was so sick. You go to Firestone from Borderlands 1. Sick. And then they put out, what do they put out next? They put out Borderlands 3 years and years and years later. Listen, I played Borderlands 3 so much on release. Loved the game, had a lot of fun. But replaying that game, the story that plays, the story that plays in the background of the gameplay. So most Borderlands fans would say like, there's parts of the story that they enjoy seeing. You know, in Borderlands 2, when you see Roland get shot in the back, and just certain scenes, you know, they're very good storytelling. So seeing it over multiple times is not too frustrating. You're like, oh man, I missed that character. That part of the game was great. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Borderlands 3, you have the Calypso twins. They're the most insufferable villains I've ever seen in a fucking video game. And every time I have to interact with them or see them, it just ruins my experience. And them killing Maya off and keeping that girl, I forget the girl's name, that's how forgettable she is. She's just annoying. She just fucking complains the whole game. I don't even want to remember her. I don't know who they were making this story for, but like their dev team should have played through the game more than once, because they would have immediately noticed most of these characters are either very annoying, they show up in one area of the game, and then when you go to another planet, they're just never brought back up. Just really bad choices on that end. But I love the gameplay of Borderlands 3. It's really good, but the story just makes it so insufferable. Oh, and also don't get me started with the builds. The angelic things that you have to get on your weapons. For every gun, you need like to get a perfect min-max build, you need the angelic modifier on the end of it. Oh, only works with this character. Oh, that was so annoying. Borderlands 3 comes out, then they put out... Oh, maybe that was before Borderlands 3, actually. I don't remember. They put out that Tiny Tina game that was based off the DLC of Borderlands 2. The game was terrible also. And then they put out Borderlands 4, and Randy Pitchford is just a mess, and nobody wants to support that guy anymore. He's arguing with his fans over the price of the game. Terrible. But, you know, so this was my first video. It's just the Yap Fest, rambling, talking about nonsense. Played a little bit of Far Far West, had a fun time here. You know, I'm gonna try to upload just Yap Fest more regularly. Maybe I'll have some of my friends in the video, and we'll also, you know, put up a Yap Fest for y'all. And, you know, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and everyone stay safe. Alright. Bye-bye.